On the last weekend of September each year since 1985, folks have had a chance to step back in time by paying a visit to a famous Catawba County historic site. Murray's Mill draws hundreds of volunteers and thousands of visitors for its annual Harvest Folk Festival. The festival gives folks a chance to see what life was like when early Catawbans first visited the four-story mill and its adjacent store when wheat was first produced at the mill in the early 20th century. Murray's Mill site director Jeff Cloninger says that the festival provides a good way to fulfill the Catawba County Historical Association's goal of educating the public about early life.
Well, this is primarily an educational event. We're trying here to preserve the old folk ways, the way things were done years and years ago. We have all sorts of folks, volunteers that come out and help us. That's another thing. It's a real community, active organization. But I guess the primary thing would be the purpose of the Historical Association, which manages this event, the Catawba County Historical Association, is to both preserve history and interpret it. We feel like this is an excellent means or a way to interpret and educate folks about how people did things years ago.
Of course, the centerpiece of the entire festival is a historic grist mill. Volunteer miller Henry Datter describes the process of using the power of water.
Product to be, and as it comes around, it goes out of chute and comes out in the box right down here. We grind wheat and corn on these stones. What I'm using here, this is granite stones. These over here are what we call French burst stones. The French burst stones are quartz stones, pieces of rock that was put together, finished like this with a metal band around them, and they poured mortar on top of them. And we balance them with lead to get them where they need to be. They're a little better quality of stone, and if you use these, and being an amateur like I am, you'd probably get a little bit of grit in your meal, and this over here does a lot better product.
At the front entrance to the festival, one of the sights you'll see is the production of molasses by master molasses producer Richard Hood. He's been making the tasty product from sugarcane at his Boone home for more than 40 years. For the past several years, he's been sharing his craft with folks at the festival.
We are grinding the cane to get the juice out of it. It runs down into a pan, which will later be boiled. And this particular operation is run by a tractor now. Years past, we used to, not up here, but when I was a boy, we had a mule that pulled a thing around a sweep and ground the cane. Same principle, grind the juice out of it. And we modernized a little bit. We have a pipe right into the pan. Used to be, we had to take it down by a bucket full at a time, but that took a considerable amount of time.
Animals played an important role in the lives of our ancestors, many of whom grew up on farms and depended on them for their livelihoods. These days, few young people have the chance to interact with barnyard animals on a regular basis.
They get to hold everything in here, the bunnies, the ducks, the rabbits. They pet the sheep and feel the wool. They just read about this stuff in books nowadays. You don't have them on farms like they used to when I was a little girl, but this is the way they can touch and feel everything that they've learned about in books and in school.
Nowadays, everybody's moved away from the farm back in the city. There's not that much for them to really do in the towns, and this is a lot where all of our heritage come from here in the United States, basically the agrarian society. And little kids can come back out and see the way we used to live back as much as 25 years ago, because I was raised on a farm. And this little one's never even seen a cow or a chicken or a pig or anything until you come to something like this.
It is fun. It's magnificent, you know. You get to see a lot of different animals, like the little bunny, see? And the ducks and everything. Oh, and, you know, it's just fun.
Southern agrarian culture is not the only heritage celebrated at the Harvest Folk Festival. Johnette Lambeth, who is a Cherokee holy woman from Davidson County, shares legends of ancient Native Americans with festival goers. She says it's important not only to celebrate man's inventions, but also to celebrate nature as well.
Anytime you love the earth and you don't understand why you have these feelings a lot of times, then you look back in your ancestry and you'll find out that you've got Native American somewhere. It's there. And that's where that love comes from. That caring and that want to be out and about and to see the sunsets and to love the Canadian geese as they fly over, and to be in touch with the earth and all the things around you. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I like to learn my heritage. I like to know what my ancestors have done in the past, and if I can do anything to help Mother Nature or anything like that.
Local Boy Scouts are getting in touch with Mother Earth by giving demonstrations of how to cook without the use of electricity. They cook everything from muffins to roasted turkeys down by the bank of the pond.
This is the way people used to cook years and years ago, over open fires, beds of coals. Also gives the scouts an opportunity to learn some important skills.
This process is we're cooking turkeys and chickens and most any kind of meat you want to. We put it in paper bags, then we put about an inch mud around it and put it in the fire and cook it.
What kind of flavors does it have when it comes out?
It has a better flavor than it does in the oven because the juice stays in it. A whole lot more juice than it is in the oven.
Other scouts and their leaders are helping youngsters build birdhouses.
Because they don't have the opportunity we had when we was growing up, and they need to learn some skills and stuff that we didn't, you know, that a lot of them not getting taught because of, you know, this is the way they live and stuff.
Show them your birdhouse. Say you made a birdhouse. I made a birdhouse.
There are also a handful of boys creating bridges from ropes and down trees. Early tools are also prominently displayed at the festival, reminding folks how things used to be done. First-time festival goers Cecilia and Lloyd Harmon say seeing the old tools brings back memories.
It's really nice to have the opportunity to see old things. We don't cherish that enough, I think.
So I was raised up with all these older things, you know, and you don't see that much anymore. Everything's got modern, and just to see the things that reminiscent about the old times.
A couple of guys give folks a first-hand demonstration of why our ancestors didn't have to work out in the gym to stay strong.
I've heard a couple of them say, hey, that's a great big chainsaw, two-man chainsaw on exhibit here, and I've heard lots of older folks talking to their children, grandchildren, what have you, explaining to them what this is, what that is, and I believe everybody's enjoying all the exhibits here today.
Hickory farmer Henry Wagner tells his passengers what life was like when he was on the farm when he was growing up, as he gives them the ever-popular wagon rides.
Yeah, all these young ones ought to know how to hitch up and ride, you know, and grow gardens and put beans and taters on their plates.
Civil War reenactors set up camp at the festival. They bring along horses, tents, old muskets, a cannon, replica uniforms, and more. They say it's all part of paying tribute to the role the Civil War played in the history of the South as well as our nation.
We're out here really